Hello and welcome to the inaugural episode of Talking Devs, where we talk about the new Hulu, FX, whatever it is, channel it's streaming show called DEVS. We're about 4 episodes in, taping on March 21st, and the 4th episode dropped a few days ago. That's where we're going to go through today. So spoiler alert, if you haven't seen all of the first 4 episodes, you probably want to watch those before tuning in. And today, my name is Scott. I'm the host, and I'm joined by my esteemed colleague, Jimmy. How's it going, Jimmy?
Doing great. Happy to talk about this show with you. One quick point. When you mentioned it was on Hulu, FX, whatever,
Yeah.
it was a little hard to figure out when I first heard about this show where it was going to be available on, because everywhere they promoted it, it said coming to FX on Hulu, which to me was like, wait, is it on FX?
Yeah.
Can I watch it on TV? Is it on Hulu? And if it's on Hulu, what is FX on Hulu, right? Because I've never heard that as an entity.
Yeah. I think we had this exact conversation, right? I was like, so if I have FX, which I'm paying for, I'm paying Comcast $140 a month for FX, and I'm still not getting the show. I still have to pay Hulu $12 a month. But it is only on streaming on Hulu. Is that correct?
You can only watch it on Hulu.
Awesome. Well, so we eventually did find out how to watch the show, as you can tell, since this is a podcast.
4 episodes later, we found out.
We're basically, the idea of the podcast is we're going to talk about the show. We're still kind of figuring out the format, but I think it's going to be a little bit of plot, but just more a lot of conversation, maybe a little bit on the kind of high level philosophical questions the show gets into. I wouldn't say super in depth on that part. I think more just kind of diving into the show and having fun with it. You can do a lot of deep dives on Reddit if you want on the ins and outs of the what is it called, like the De Broglie bomb theory and all sorts of that. There's a lot of cool stuff, but I think this is we're gonna be just having fun here. Jimmy. So I guess maybe we should just give a super quick, not really recap, but everyone who's listening to this podcast hopefully seen the show. But the idea is there's a big tech company called Amaya that's into quantum computing, based in the Bay Area. It looks like the campus, I think it's filmed in Santa Cruz, but it's kind of wooded. And, does that sound right in terms of location to you?
Yeah, I mean, the Amaya campus, I think, is the UC Santa Cruz campus in real life.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to take place.
Yeah.
In
it's
the
not
Bay
in like
Area
proper Silicon Valley, right? It's kind of off, which makes sense given some of the stuff they're doing. But basically, there's an eccentric founder named Forrest, played by Nick Offerman, and they're working on advancements in quantum computing. They're clearly the leader in the field, but the major relevant plot point is that his daughter apparently died, and there's some really giant, creepy statue about 200 feet tall, and seems to be he's digging for ways to kind of either cope with or to deal with her death in many ways. And
the company's named after her.
Correct. Yeah, the company is also called Amaya. So would you say, is Google supposed to be like, if there were an analog, would you say it's Google? Or is it more like a combination of companies? I don't even know.
I can't even. At this point. Yeah, I don't even know what a equivalent in the real world would be. I mean, if it was trying to model after Google, I feel like they would be doing more about just like spying on people.
True. They did talk about search engine as search engine capabilities as one of the kind of offerings of the company. It was just more of a one-off there, but yeah. So basically, there's kind of a spy element in terms of in the first episode of Sergey trying to extract some of the code. I mean, I feel like if I just go too in depth, we're just going to walk through all the plot, which people, if they're watching this, have presumably watched the episodes. But kind of, spy elements surrounding the chief protagonist, and she's dealing with her boyfriend who was murdered after he was trying to steal the code for this technology that looks like it can look back into the past and predict or demonstrate the future potentially too. But I don't know. Anything else you want to add on to that? Like I've started going down that hole, and it would take us 20 minutes to recap everything. So I'm not going to go down too far. But
Yeah, I mean, like this, the quickest way to say what happened in these first 4 episodes is he tries to steal this code. He gets murdered for it, and they cover it up. And we follow Lily as he's trying to figure out what happened to Sergey and what this company's actually doing.
yep.
Right. So, yeah. And in between, there's some Russian spy elements as well, which seems to just be a side subplot and not really relevant to just the
Yeah.
overall story.
No, it's funny. I took so many notes during the first show. I'm bragging here about all the notes I'm taking purposely. No, but I thought that was going to be a pretty central thing, right? The Russian spies, and then Anton gets killed in that weird wrestling murder scene with
Yeah.
Kenton.
How exactly did he die? I feel like that was not very well shot. Like he
No,
was
yeah,
wedged between that tire, and then all of a sudden he was just dead. And I assume they wanted us to think that he got that. What's that? What's this security guy's name?
Kenton.
Yeah, I think they wanted us to assume Kenton like snapped his neck using the tire, but
that was a very weird fight. I don't even know if I'd call it a fight scene, but yeah, Kenton took out Anton, and I don't know. Yeah, like the Russians, I kind of was into that part of it, and it's not really going to be a big element of it going forward, which is fine. But
there is one nitpick I have.
Let's hear it. Okay, I like it. I like picking nits. What do you got?
So I mean, Lily spends all this time trying to hack Sergey's phone because she sees this mysterious app, and she goes to her
app.
and she goes to her friend Jamie, her ex-boyfriend, to try to hack it. And finally she does, right? Or finally Jamie does. And she pulls up this app, and it turns out to be some secret Russian messaging app.
Yep.
And it turns out Sergey and this Russian spy have been communicating in English this entire time.
In English and not,
Like she's looking at their old thread, and they're just like, "You ready? You ready to?"
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. That's a very good nit to pick. I hadn't thought about that. The other thing was, okay, so she knows. First off, who hates Sudoku? That's kind of a weird thing to hate.
I would want to click on it immediately.
Yeah. Well, especially if you're like I don't know. That was weird. And then, so do you think maybe did he know that she knew that he hated Sudoku, so that's why he coded that app that way? Like, did he want, in case something happened to him, for her to dig down that hole, or he just didn't care? He was only focused on his Russian mission.
Yeah, unclear. I mean, she did have to go through hoops to get the phone to like reload all that data, right? Because she had apparently had a backup phone somewhere, and then had to load the cloud data. So
yeah,
I don't think Sergey was thinking that hard.
Okay. No, that's fair. So real quick, we should also talk about one of the, I think, pretty interesting characters, Jamie, who is Lily's ex-boyfriend. They kind of go into their, I guess, quote, breakup, where she just kind of ghosted him in some ways and then started dating Sergey. But Jamie, probably one of the more interesting characters in a lot of way. But he also is into cryptography, or what's the term, like she is as well? Am I using that properly?
Oh yeah, encryption.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. So I thought it was kind of weird that she didn't try anything other than 2 random passwords, which one, I'd be curious what the passwords that she guessed were. Like, was it her name? But apparently she's supposed to be some badass coder if she's working at Amaya, and all she does is randomly, haphazardly guess a couple guesses. She can't do any crazy stuff that Jamie did. Like Jamie busts out, 3 monitors and taps in and finds out that it's Uzbekistani or whatever app, Kazakhstan, I think. That was a little weird. I thought that was strange. If she's some badass coder.
Here's my other nitpick.
Okay, let's hear it.
Actually, it's probably less of a nitpick and more of just like a joke. But I was thinking when I saw that, if she just guesses it wrong the 3rd time, why can't she just reload the backup from the cloud?
I thought the same thing. I'm sure there's maybe some way that if that happens, the app pings and it removes the backup or whatever. But
Yeah.
I was thinking of the same thing. It's like, why don't you make infinite copies of the app and then
Yeah. Just buy 20 phones. And
but it's also like, if she's just randomly guessing anyway, like, is she really going to be able to figure it out? But if he's a good spy, is he going to use like Lily1234 as his password, that's what I'm guessing she put in. All right, so
this is totally
yeah,
off topic,
yeah,
but
bring it.
last year I was watching this Amazon Prime show called Jack Ryan. I might have complained about this to you before, but there's this key scene where they confiscate a terrorist's laptop and they have to guess the password to
Okay.
hack into the laptop.
Yeah.
And this is a scene with Jim from The Office and then Bunk from The Wire. So two very, established actors.
Yep. Yep.
And they're talking about, oh man, we gotta hack into this terrorist laptop. And out of nowhere, Jim, or Jack Ryan in the show, he's like, oh, I'm gonna guess this terrorist prisoner number when he was a prisoner, I don't know, 10 years ago. And so he types in the terrorist prisoner number and he gets into the laptop.
Jeez.
And it's never discussed again. It was just like, we're gonna try to. Yeah, they're like, oh, we got in. Let's go.
Jack Ryan. Well, I mean, what else? What else do you expect?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Yes, I would like to know what she guessed as her first two guesses as the password, but I guess we'll never know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to bring up a very urgent topic of discussion. Probably the most posted thing on Reddit, and something that I also, just in case you didn't know, I take notes on the show. So the main question that everyone wants to know is, in the kind of crazy looking cube where the devs work, right? They have this like vacuum sealed layer around the main working area where you kind of, essentially, it looks like you kind of float across. It's pretty cool looking. How do they deal with plumbing and especially specifically get people's poop out of there and running water into the devs area? This is what there were dozens of posts on Reddit about this, and I wanted
Do we know for sure there's a toilet in there?
Well, yeah, right, because Sergey
they?
went into the bathroom when he did his
Oh
weird
yeah,
thing.
that's true.
There was a toilet. Also, like, every time you had to pee, like if you had to cross the chasm, that would get pretty knowing how many Mountain Dews developers slam all day, and how much Taco Bell they eat. Like, I think you're not gonna want to have to cross the chasm every time.
Yeah, that's true.
Calls, but I don't know, that came up. Maybe you just have someone come in and out. You have sort of a kind of a waste collection thing that maybe once every 2 days someone comes in, moves it across the thing. That seems kind of gross, though. I don't know what you do.
I mean, presumably they'd be able to predict when everyone's gonna need to use the toilet, right? So they could then just schedule a pickup based on that behavior.
When it hits the I think you look into the future. That's one of the few things worth looking into the future for. Okay, we need to talk about Forrest. Interesting character. Obviously, head of Amaya, has the whole his daughter was killed. Okay, I'm going to do a couple questions for you. Let's go pretty rapid fire. Was he responsible for his daughter's death? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't have any other rapid fire questions queued up. Okay, so what do you think he's going for? So he's clearly into the kind of deterministic idea, right? Things are binary. So okay, sorry, quick pivot. So when Sergey goes into the devs and steals the code on his James Bond wristwatch, which, for the record, like, are you like, how bad of a spy do you have to be to like immediately try to do that, like on your first fucking 15 minutes inside of devs? Like, maybe give it a week, build a little trust, wait till no one's around. That was a nit for me to pick. That was fucking stupid. Also, how does that watch work? How does it? Was it taking a photo of the screen of the code? How or was it like remotely copying? What was I didn't understand that. Did you get that?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. Like, I'm trying to remember if, or maybe you do, because you watched it more recently. Like, was his wristwatch pointing at the screen when he was sitting back
I
down at his
couldn't say.
computer?
Yeah, I should have to rewatch. I apparently probably should have done that before
Yeah.
bringing up this theory. But anyways, it seemed like he could have done as a spy, someone raised to be a Russian spy. Your crucial moment. You think you could do like a little better job? That was pretty terrible.
And not only that, before Crucial Moment, he somehow got stomach issues and
That
had to
well,
run to the restroom to puke.
nope. I mean, we got out of the poop topic, but now we're back to the barf topic. But this had to come up because I flagged this too. This was like, I don't know, the throwing
But
it
it
thing
was, but it was like, was it more he was nervous about what he was about to do, or did he look at the code and realize, oh shit, they are
Mm,
doing this? This is way above anything that I thought devs was about, and like that overwhelmed him, and he just started throwing up. Right? Like,
yeah. Well, it's like, why didn't you like maybe don't try to steal the code on your stupid wristwatch, which no one knows how it works. Like, why don't you maybe like go back to your Sudoku app and pop open the chat with Anton and speak English and be like, hey, like this is what they're doing. Anton, should I wait like 2 weeks? Maybe get a little advice from your handler on that. And you don't really have to steal the whole
yeah.
code right away. That was a little weird.
Actually, I this is I read this theory, and I think this is the one I
Okay.
believe.
Yep.
So he read the code and he realized, shit, they already know that I'm a
Okay.
spy and I'm going to
Yep.
steal this code. I'm screwed either way, and that's why he panicked, went to the
I like that.
bathroom.
Okay. If that's
Yeah,
the whole rundown, I like that. I'm down with that theory. That's a good one.
yeah.
No, good point. So kind of back to the forest question. So the one of the theories that I like is that he's trying to get to the point where he can determine that the world is deterministic so that presumably if he is to blame for his daughter's death, he can kind of absolve himself of guilt. And that's where it kind of comes back to why I brought in Sergey, because I think it was quite important. When Kenton does the snatch grab of Sergey when Sergey's running away and then chokes him out with the Safeway shopping bag over his head, he basically tells Sergey, I think before he ran, he was like, hey, this isn't your fault. We kind of knew this was going to happen. This was deterministic, not free will. So I think maybe he's trying to maybe he's going for that angle that it wasn't his fault, whatever happened to his daughter. Which I kind of like that angle. I don't know if that's satisfying enough, but I can see that as something.
So why do you think he's responsible for his daughter's death?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like so I don't know. It seems like he's racked with a lot of guilt, right? This wasn't just maybe she died of leukemia or something, right? Like,
Yeah.
there seems to be a lot going on around surrounding her death. I think that like maybe he did something where he neglected or he did, I think it's his hands are bloody, but we will find out.
Yeah.
I'm pretty curious about that.
Do you think the giant Amaya statue has any deeper role in this story than just being a creepy large statue? Because they keep showing it, they keep focusing on it, and I feel like there's some deeper secret behind that statue.
I'm with you. I think something has to happen with the statue.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. A couple quick hitters. We'll circle back to any topics you want to talk about. So I wanted to introduce a segment called Over Unders.
Okay.
Since we're both pretty into like sports gambling and such. So the idea being, I'll call it a scenario and then a number, and you pick whether it's going to be higher or lower.
Okay.
So first one is Kenton, the kind of crazy, creepy security guard, gives you a little bit of vibes of like, Agent Smith from The Matrix, a little bit of Mike from Breaking Bad, the old guy, kind of old man strength guy. So I think so far he has killed 2 people. No, he's killed Sergey and Anton. We don't know if he killed Jamie, which was kind of the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But by the end of the season, over under total number of people killed by Kenton, I'm going to put it at 4.5. Are you going over or under?
I am going to go under, actually.
Under. Okay.
I don't think he's going to make it to the end of this series. So
that seems fair. Yeah.
I don't know who else he could potentially kill, at least from the characters we've been introduced to.
Yeah. I mean, like, supposedly Lily's going to die in 48 hours, but I can't really see Kenton killing Lily. That doesn't seem very satisfying. Maybe maybe the shrink to quiet him up, but he could always like kill a random person to keep him quiet. But so you're going under 4.5. Just so the audience knows, I think we're going to put $1 bet on that. We'll keep track of that.
All right. I think the only other person he might kill, and this will bring into.
Ooh, okay. I think I have my guess, but I like where you're going. Let's hear it.
I think the only other person he might kill is the homeless dude that's been hanging outside Lily's house.
Okay.
But only because I feel like there is going to be more to that homeless dude's story. Like he can't just be some guy that's just hanging out there. Like, I mean, we could talk about theories about that guy right now if you want, but
yeah. Well, actually, if you want, Pete is here. Actually, his name's Pete. In case you didn't know,
okay. He's here.
I can bring it. Do you want me to bring him into the studio? If you want to ask him, let me go grab him.
Okay, go grab Pete.
Okay. Hello. This is Pete. Who's here? Who am I talking to? Jimmy?
Yeah, it's Jimmy. How's it going, Pete?
It's good. It's good. I heard you have a few questions for me.
Did you transport here from another universe?
I've gotten that question before. I've thought about that a lot in terms of my own existence and which universe I come from. I think you're just going to have to watch the rest of the episodes to find out. It's a good question. I don't want to spoil. No spoiler alerts. So sorry about that. I don't want to give you the answer, but I hope you tune in to the rest of DEVS on FX on Hulu's FX Hulu channel. I know it's a little confusing, but
you get that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I like streaming that. Put on my tinfoil hat and watch it while I'm sitting out in Dolores Park, my favorite channel. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to it. Gonna go back, find some more cigs on the street, and get back to
things. Stay safe.
So, thank you, Jimmy. I'll be keeping an eye out for Lily, making sure she's safe. So take care, man. Thank you.
Take care. Watch out for Kenton.
Mm-hmm. Hey, okay, cool. Yeah. Thanks, Pete. Appreciate it. We'll see you later.
Do you think, and this is based off of nothing whatsoever, do you think he's related at all to Forrest?
Ooh. Is this just, are you beardist right now? Just because they have beards?
Just kind of either he's related to Forrest or he's related to Jesus from their static imagery. I don't know. He kind of resembles both of them.
Interesting. No, I like that Jesus theory. Like, is he going to die for someone's sins in this with the whole? Sidebar. The whole kind of scrambly video stuff is actually pretty cool. I've liked that. Been into that. And the Marilyn Monroe sex scene was a little weird. I don't know if I was like totally feeling that with Arthur Miller, but those parts are. Oh yeah. Question for you. So at first I had to look it up to find out what it actually was before they drilled in on the Abraham Lincoln speech, the Gettysburg Address, I think it was giving her. I thought for a second that it was the Salem witch trials, but did you figure you know what it was, right? That they were doing instead.
It was Joan of Arc.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, like what do you think the Joan of Arc connection is there? I heard some theories, but do you have any thoughts?
Actually, I have no theories whatsoever. So if you could shed some light, I will gladly hear them.
So there was something that was way too involved that I didn't get all the way through. It was an interesting one. One thing to call out is like her symbol is that kind of the fleur de lis symbol, which is basically a lily, which is something called, I think that
Okay.
maybe zone in on little Lily Chan, a little symbolism there. But I didn't know. I mean, she was a heretic, right? In that, maybe some religious undertones. I'm interested what the show does in terms of the religion topic, right? I feel like there's been a little bit of it there, but not that much. Do you think they're going to go down that idea of religion? Not the idea of religion, but do you think that's going to be a big topic, or is it more on the kind of deterministic versus simulation and all that?
Um, Honestly, no. Given that we're 4 episodes in, I feel like they were just showing us 3 random moments in history to showcase their little predictive
Yeah.
technology algorithm. Like, I
Oh,
don't
fair
think
enough.
there's any deeper meaning there. Since it looks like now we're just going to pivot to this being more about Forrest and his daughter.
Yeah. I feel like with 4 episodes left, right, that they kind of have
Yeah.
to. Wait, okay. So real quick, back to that. One question I had:
Mhm.
if you could go back to any place / time, what would you go see?
Hmm.
So we've seen Jesus on the cross. We've seen Joan of Arc.
Oh, if I had this technology? All right.
Yeah. What would you go watch?
That is a good question. I would go back off the top of my head and probably relive some sports championship moment.
Okay.
I
What
can't I
like?
can't think of any like big historical moment I would want to go back to. I mean, it would be interesting to finally find out who shot JFK after all these years of just like conspiracy theories and whatnot. And I don't know why I went to that morbid thought right now to revisit that moment, but
Well, that's what
yeah,
they brought that up in the show, right? They do bring
yeah,
up the grass skull, so relevant. That'd be interesting. I think so. The one I had down was seeing Tupac's murder to see who actually did it.
okay.
Would
So
like
similar to
to,
mine.
and yeah, exactly, and to actually also confirm that he's dead. We don't know for sure.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it would. God, what would you think about seeing the actual like Normandy invasion, the beaches of Normandy? That would be pretty fucking crazy. Um,
Yeah. You
I'm
know what?
trying to
I
think.
would
Yeah,
just
let's
like
hear
to
it.
be not a specific moment, but like I would just like to be thrown back in the time of when dinosaurs existed to at least
I did have the dinosaurs thing cross my mind, just
see
to
what
see.
they actually look like, right?
Yeah, true. So okay, so question on that. So the they keep referencing the kind of 2,000 year mark as like about as far back as the quantum technology can go in terms of viewing the past. Do you think that's kind of just because it's convenient because they can go see Jesus, or that's kind of actually just what the technology supports? So like you can't really go further back than that, or
Hmm.
that would presumably rule out dinosaurs
Yeah.
unless you're, you know. Um,
I think it's just the further back you try to go, the more computing power you have to process. And as they've already stated on the show, like they're already maxed out on their computing
yeah,
processes.
that's fair. Yeah. Okay. No, fair enough. All right, let's get through a few more things, and if anything comes up on your end, feel free to hop in.
All right.
Okay. Question for you: is Jamie dead? I know the fourth episode ended with Kenton kind of maybe throwing him into the corner of the room or on the bed or something. Do you think Jamie survives that interaction with Kenton?
Yes.
Okay. Is it mostly just because they need Jamie around because he's kind of one of the
Yeah.
actual like
He's
interesting
kind of like,
characters?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Yep.
he's the only one helping Lily right now, and she's
Yep.
already kind of lost to her boyfriend.
Yep. Well, there needs to be some sort of other, I don't know, protagonist or someone else who you're rooting for, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Lily's, I don't know.
Well,
One of the, yeah.
speaking of Jamie,
Yep.
did
Yep.
you see those screenshots on Reddit? where during that fight scene, it looked like the composition of his room was slightly different than the composition of his room when he was doing that massive clean earlier in the episode.
Interesting.
And I don't know if that's actually the show trying to tell us something, or maybe just like a production designer messed something up, or they filmed sequences out of order. But it's very clearly the room is in a different structure than when we saw the room earlier. So could be support for another multiverse theory, or just could be a technical error, but something just to make note of.
Well, maybe no. That's a good one to point out. Maybe he maybe he obsessed more about the organization in the apartment and was like, I need to go do a little more to make things look good for Lily. I thought that was like one of the better scenes in terms of the like non-devs related human interaction, which I think has been one of the critiques. Well, this is one of my critiques, but one of the big critiques I've seen has been kind of around Lily's acting and how she seems very robotic, which we can chat about. On a related note, like honestly, I feel like the kind of dialogue scenes outside of the devs world have been kind of lacking and boring. I don't know if that's what they're going for, or if just not really the forte of what's it, Alec. Who's the creator?
Alex Garland.
I don't know. I just those interactions have, other than the ones with Pete, I think have actually been pretty good. But the kind of more human areas just been a little lacking, in my opinion. But.
Yeah, from reading a little bit about this, it seems like that's just kind of the creator's style in terms of just having more of that dry, robotic kind of type of acting.
I mean, maybe that's what we're all just like in real life, and we like to think we're more interesting in our interactions, and we're just actually really boring, lame, deterministic people. But.
What's funny is Lily was in another Alex Garland.
Oh, okay.
Project,
let's hear your take. Yep.
She was in his movie Ex Machina, and she played a robot. Machina.
A light J there? Is that a silent G?
Machina?
I think it's. So I always run into trouble with the Deus Ex Machina. But
how do you say it?
I don't think I can go on record because every time I get filled with anxiety every time I need to say that word.
But I said it wrong?
No, I'm just trying to be critical to cover my own.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to actually pronounce it.
I think it's Machina.
Machina, okay.
Yeah. Machina? I don't know.
Deus Ex Machina. Okay, Machina. Okay. Well, she was in Ex Machina, and she played a robot in that show or movie. So this is kind of along the same path for her.
Totally. Well, speaking of Deus, I think we need to chat a little bit about the title of the show, right?
Okay.
So what do you think DEVS stands for? Obviously, developers was the kind of, theory promulgated by Sergey, which just seems a little too simplistic. But what do you think?
I think everyone's pronouncing it wrong, and I think it's actually the V is a U, and I think it's I don't want to mispronounce this, but Deus, and I think it's Forrest trying to play God.
Okay. So shortly after you said religion was just not really an important topic, now you're saying that the show was actually called Deus. I like that. I like that pivot.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, I like that. Yeah.
That earlier statement came from a different multiverse, Jimmy. So we're converging.
Yeah, no, Forrest is not a big multiverse guy, as you can tell. Oh, you know what we should talk about? Let's talk about the devs themselves, because I think that's been one of the more kind of fun aspects of the show, because honestly, the whole Lily Jamie shit is really dry, kind of boring.
I have one I want to start with.
Yep, let's go. Bring it.
Lyndon.
Yep, I like it.
Boy or a girl?
Okay, so originally I think I thought it was a boy. And where I'm coming down now is that it is a It is a person who was potentially born as a female, but now identifies as a male. Maybe is what's going on. It sounds like the pronoun action has been a little he, him, his,
Yeah.
but it looks. Oh God, I just said it. I think you need to edit that out. I don't know. Sorry. It looks like to me the situation. It looks like I think I think the person looks like a person who was born female, as I was saying originally.
Okay.
But it sounds like maybe pronoun wise, this person identifies as male. But
Well, in the show, Lyndon is referred to in the he, his
okay, that's
pronoun, right?
yep.
But in real life, Lyndon is portrayed by a female named Kaylee. Um, so it's unclear in the show whether Lyndon is just supposed to be male or is actually a born female identifying as a male, and who knows if any of that's important. But what I find interesting is that her look, or sorry, his look,
Okay.
is very similar to Lily's look. And in episode 4, you see Forrest watching this kind of static image of what we think is Lily, presumably dying somewhere out in the forest.
Okay.
But now you see where I'm going with this. Maybe it's actually Lyndon, and I only say that because like there must have been some reason they made the two characters look similar or have similar hairstyles or just be
Interesting. Okay. No,
similar.
So it's funny. So this is where I thought you were going earlier on our Kenton over under, which I have one more over under to bring up. I thought the person you were going to think Kenton might kill would be Lyndon. Maybe she spills the beans. Anyways. But,
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah, that's I like that theory a lot. That spoiler alert.
Here's the thing, right? Lyndon
Okay.
seems to be very smart, right? Based on the technology he just showed in this past episode. So maybe he has seen that same prediction that Lily is going.
Oh,
And so Lyndon does something, one, to get fired, and two, to take the death of Lily, or I don't know, sacrifice himself in
interesting.
some way.
I
I
like
don't know.
that. I like that. Yeah, because there was that moment where he has the freak out, right? And like maybe that's not just the audio problem that he solves.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, I like. Oh, okay. Talk about lava sauce. Got to drop that in the Reddit thread.
Yeah. I actually just thought of that right now. So let me get on there afterwards and post it.
Live. Yeah. No, I think that's gonna be a big comment there. All right, so let me get in the last over under. I like those theories. Okay, so we have the Lily Jamie sexual tension. It's kind of sexual tension, but mostly just weird. I have this over under as time of first kiss for Lily and Jamie on screen. Episode 7 at the 27-minute mark. There's 8 episodes in the season, as I think you said. Where over or under? Earlier
Over.
or later? Over. Okay, so you think
They are not gonna kiss.
At all? Oh, this is a separate bet.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I
It's 2 bets then.
for Jamie's sake, he's clearly still pining after her and distraught about the whole breakup. I would hate to see him finally get back with Lily. I don't know why.
You're like Jamie can do better than Lily because she's a wreck? Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, some other quick hitters. So the whole in 48 hours Lily will die. I think I like your theory of it maybe being Lyndon. That's a good one there. That's a good one. Any other thoughts on that? Do you think that is it Lyndon, or maybe like in another multiverse Lily dies but not in this one?
Well, I don't know if this exactly addresses your question, but why are they looking into the future anyway? Like, they seem more curious about the past and bringing Amaya back. Like,
Yep. Well, well, it seems like Forrest only really cares about that, right? But maybe they do by proxy.
Yeah, but can't he just like, I don't know, look into the future then to see if he actually is able to bring Amaya back?
Mm. But I thought, okay, so question for you. So they can look at least they can look about 2,000 years into the past.
Mm.
Isn't it something like they can only look 5 minutes into the future?
Oh, okay, yeah.
But that being said, obviously they just said 48 hours, Lily will die. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But it seems
So
like it does seem like they can't necessarily look 2,000 years into the future. Like it's harder potentially computing wise to look into
yeah.
the future versus looking in the past. That seems somewhat agreed upon. But
Well, I feel like they were saying in 48 hours in one universe, Lily dies.
Yeah, no, I think
Right.
the multiverse thing has to come into play here.
Because I mean, this goes back to I think episode 1 where Sergey is showcasing his little predictive model to Forrest for the first time,
Yep.
and those two little, I don't know what they were, let's just call them worms, like are in sync for like the first 10 seconds, and then both just drastically go haywire in different
Yep.
directions.
Yep.
I do want to bring something up that I don't know if you noticed.
Okay, let's hear it.
Since you take a lot of notes, you might have been looking at your screen
I
while
mean,
this happened.
I have 5 pages of notes. No, just a huge brag. But yeah,
Yeah.
let's hear it.
I mean, it may be in your notes, but did you notice at the very beginning of episode 4 a what looked like to be a dead rat or a charred rat?
Oh, I did. Okay, sorry, that was on my notes. Wait, what
That
did I
was
put?
okay.
That was. Oh yeah, I said intense intro with the face color combos. Remember, like I don't know, it was forced green, but there was like red and green and maybe yellow. And then I said random thing on floor. There was also halo around a tree. Yeah, what is
Yeah.
that thing? Was it organic? Was it a something more, like something built? I don't know what that was.
The organic thing?
Or what was it? Oh, no, sorry, I was saying like, was it organic? Was it like some sort of, something,
I mean, it was a rat.
Oh, it was a rat. Okay. I
It
was
was,
having trouble actually
yeah.
seeing what it was.
Oh yeah. No, it was a rat dead on its side, and it looked like
Okay.
it had been charred to death.
That seems like that is definitely going to come back, right?
I think so. I mean, why else show it?
Interesting. Are they burning? Are they practicing? I mean, they burned Sergey.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I remember seeing that, and I wasn't, totally sure on that.
I don't know if this is the time to talk about it, but this rat does make an appearance in the trailer for the season as a whole.
Okay, a little spoiler alert, but
Yeah, I don't know if we want to. I don't know if we want to get into that now or wait till the end. But since we're talking about the rats, this may be interesting to note.
Okay, I have some thoughts. Let's hear where you're noting.
Okay. So before this series came out, there was a trailer that was just kind of like promoting the whole show in general, and there were two scenes that stood out to me. One of them being, they show this rat alive, and he's clearly in the DEVS environment somewhere, and he's situated in between this machine that has like kind of 5 poles sticking out of it. So it seems like they're experimenting on this rat of some sort. Yep. And clearly, this machine is the reason this rat is now dead. But who knows what this machine is being used for, right? Is it being used to copy the rat's DNA or trying to replicate it some way or trying to, predict what it's going to do? I don't know. But clearly the experiment failed.
Yep. It seems okay. Yeah. Wait, what's the or?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say maybe they were trying to like age it quicker for some reason, because I think maybe Forrest might want to try to see what Amaya looks like in present day.
Okay. Right? Okay. So let's roll with that. So I think there's some sort of kind of like it's kind of not necessarily cloning, but some sort of like bringing a person back, right?
Yeah.
Element to things, because I think he both cares about how she died and potentially absolving himself. We don't necessarily know that it was his fault yet,
Yeah.
We'll find that out soon. Here's a kind of crazy theory I have. So Katie, you know who Katie is?
Yeah, the blonde.
Blonde, kind of robotic,
Yeah,
doesn't have a
yeah.
lot of personality. Like, I don't. She's not a dev, right? She seems like maybe a manager of the devs.
Yeah, like a
She
product
gets mad,
manager.
right, when Lyndon gets booted. Lyndon's apparently one of her best devs.
Yeah.
Could Katie be some sort of vessel for bringing back Amaya at present, like what age Amaya should be, maybe? Given that
Ooh.
Katie does not have any sort of personality herself. So maybe she's just like a vessel, kind of, I don't know. Anyways, throwing that out there. Because what is, like, I think the show circles back to what is Forrest's goal, right?
Yeah.
That he wants to live life with his daughter. Is he happy just being in a multiverse, living with his daughter, experiencing her childhood growing up? Does he want her now to, even if he loses her childhood, like just live the rest of his life out with what would be his daughter's personality? I don't know.
Well, it seems like, I mean, there was that whole shtick in the last episode, maybe it was the third episode, where he essentially was like, she needs to be perfect, right? Like any slight variation of her is not her.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a great point. I think that's something that's worth bringing up. The whole deterministic kind of, this whole thing is binary. Things are perfect. There cannot be one missing hair from Jesus's beard. Otherwise, it's okay. Wait, let me quote the line exactly. It's, if it's not our Jesus, it's not my Amaya. I think that kind of sums it up pretty well. Just word for word what he said.
Those are in your notes?
I mean, my 5.5 pages of notes. Yep, I'm looking at them right now.
We should post these notes in the show notes of the podcast.
Yep. I think I'll only charge $47 for access to these notes. But yeah, but no, I think that that gets back to a lot of where it's the binary nature of, like, this has to be. So why do you think he cares about it being perfect? What about, like, what if it just was like his daughter, but just she was missing a little bit? She was a little different. Would he still be super upset? Like, what? Wouldn't he still be happy that it's close enough to his daughter? It's better than nothing. You know what I mean?
Well, so we're under the assumption that he wants to physically bring her back, right? Because otherwise, he can just, like, I don't know, look at he can look at old photos, videos of her, right, and be like, okay, well, these are good memories. All right, so he wants, like, to recreate her and then make sure that she is the exact same person she was when he last, I guess, remembered her, and then possibly make her present in age. I don't know. That just seems to be the third requirement that I'm listing.
Yeah, no,
it would be. Totally, I mean, it would be weird to bring her back in her whatever teenage years or whatever, how old she was when she died in present day, wouldn't it?
It would be, right? I don't know. That's why I'm thinking. I don't know. I'm kind of digging my Katie theory. She's a blank slate. So do you think that there will be some sort of crazy ass twist at the, not necessarily the very end, but is there going to be some sort of, like, this is a, multiverse, or this is a simulation type thing?
Well, good question, because you might have remembered earlier I said there was two things in the trailer I wanted to point out.
Okay, let's hear it.
And I don't know if this is just too spoilery, but I'm just going to say it. So there's a quick scene in the trailer. I forget exactly where, maybe like 1 minute, 10 seconds in. But it shows Katie, and she's, I don't know, standing somewhere outside, maybe on a road. And for a split second, you see Katie split into 3 people.
What? Ooh.
Kind of like a shadow, but like 2 other Katies kind of emerge from her and walk to the side. And then it just cuts out of that scene. who knows what that means? Who knows if it's actually a real scene or if it just happens to be a dream of some sort? I don't know, but it's there.
Mm.
It's very evident that there's three Katies right in that scene, but yeah, it means something.
I mean, now I'm digging my theory even more. To be fair, I did not see that. Interesting. Okay, I like that. Yeah, because I guess like, what other purpose does she serve, right? Like, if there's not something a little grander in
Yeah.
her presence. So, okay, cool. Now I'm digging my theory even more.
Ooh. So over under or odds that we are dealing with a multiverse.
I'm gonna put it at 28%. I think it's a little unsatisfying.
Yeah. I mean,
Feels like a little bit of a cop out if that's how we go, right? I think there
yeah.
has to be some like really fucking hard hitting thing around the daughter's death.
Well, here's also the thing, like we are
Okay.
so conditioned these days to expect like big reveals and
Yeah.
with these mystery box shows. But maybe, I mean, I'm not very familiar with Alex Garland's work. Maybe he's pretty on the surface with what he's trying to portray. Like they're creating a predictive algorithm and they're just going to try to bring Amaya back, and that's it. Like maybe it's
Yeah.
maybe it's as simple as that, and he's not trying to like pull the wool under our eyes and be like, oh, just kidding, you know, we're in a different universe and we're gonna jump, I don't know, to another one and try to bring Amaya back into this place.
No, it's a good. I think I like that because like I feel like this show. I don't actually. I'm not feel like I don't feel like I'm craving a crazy twist. I feel like it could be kind of satisfying if it's just like, hey, Forrest had this really fucked up event with his daughter. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be like Lost, where I think there's a really high degree of difficulty in terms of landing the plane, trying to find the right outcome of what's going on. If it's just like, hey, Forrest was searching for this thing and they handle it well in terms of not necessarily like a twist, but if everyone's like achieving what they need out of life, I think I would still be happy with it. But
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're coming up on over an hour at this point.
Yeah.
What other things do you want to get into? We could try and kind of.
The only other note I had, and this is probably the least important thing we will talk about this pod, is I kind of zoned out in episode 2, but there was this whole subplot involving, I don't know, senators or someone from the government. And I'm not sure why that was included. Was that episode 3? Okay. But I zoned out on what their topic of conversation was, but now I'm thinking about like, was that even important? Like what were they, why were they introduced? What were they even discussing? And will they even make another appearance in this show? Or is it just kind of like, I don't know, world building?
No, that's a good one. So yeah, basically the idea was like, not the idea, but there was a senator comes to visit the campus. She's seems to be advocating for Amaya to let the U.S. government not necessarily like, or at least like have access to their technology, or at least have oversight over what's going on, right?
Yes.
And then that's when like the whole scene with Lily standing over the fourth story ledge, maybe potentially pretending to kill herself. That was a good scene. My take would be maybe that's just setting a little stage of like, at least people know what's going on a little bit about Amaya. Like maybe they don't know that obviously that they've developed this, prediction technology, but maybe at least they're on the radar of the world, and it's not like they're doing this totally underground. But I don't know. Maybe that stuff circles back. That'd be interesting to know.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that was all I really had to say
No,
about that.
but I'm also interested to see like, does that circle back at all? Is that just kind of stage setting for everything?
And then one more thing, I just wanted to give a shout out to the character Stuart, because he's probably one of my favorite characters.
I can't believe it took us this long. Yeah, he's great. I like it. What was it? Have you listened to Bach or who's the other artist he quoted? Not Miles Davis. Was it someone else?
Oh man, I don't remember.
Remember the music discussion with Lyndon? They're talking about now. Maybe you should be taking 5.5 pages of notes.
Is it not in your notes? I'm looking at it right now.
It's too extensive. I don't even know if I can dig into that. I think that was the discussion of the kind of age of, there's some sort of, kind of generational conversation, right?
Yeah.
About that. But taking a step back, Stewart is great. I think the interaction between him and Lyndon is great. So a pretty big bummer that we're not going to have them around, because that was one of the more interesting things. But
yeah,
so far, okay, out of 10, what are you giving the show?
Sorry,
so
Coltrane. He was mentioning Bob.
Coltrane. All right, fuck.
Yes,
I said Miles Davis. Sorry, I was thinking about a little Billy Madison in terms of the Miles Davis reference, but it was Coltrane and Bach, I believe. So, but yeah, what would you give? The season so far through episode 4 out of 10?
Out of 10, I would give it a 6.5.
Okay.
It kind of moves slow at times, and when you kind of get to an end of an episode and you're like, what happened really? And you're like, oh, not really that much. But the themes are intriguing to me. Not a lot of shows really kind of focus on this. So that's what kind of is keeping me invested for now. And I like Alex Garland's other 2 things I've seen. I liked Ex Machina and Annihilation, which I don't think we've talked about so far, but I like kind of his kind of take on stories. So I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah, I think it's worth. Well, given we're recording a podcast about it, we probably shouldn't recommend that people not watch this show. I'm into it. I think if I had to give it a Fibonacci sequence number, the choices are, I guess, 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, or 11 if you're going over 10. It would be between a 5 and an 8. If I had to pick one of those, I'd probably go 8. Although if you asked me after episode 3, also a Fibonacci sequence number, I would have gone with a 5, because that was kind of a slow episode.
Yeah.
Things have picked up a bit. I would go with an 8 of those, but it's honestly probably closer to between a 5 and an 8.
Actually, you bringing up Fibonacci brings up another minor nitpick I have with the show.
Pick that nit. Let's hear it.
Because when Lily and I think her name is Jen are going back and forth reciting the Fibonacci sequence, it's presented as if this is just kind of like a fun game they do when they're bored. And it's like, but it's also presented as if they're calculating the Fibonacci in their head on the spot. But it's like, if this is a game you play all the time, you're literally just reciting numbers that you've memorized. You're not actually calculating the Fibonacci sequence in real time.
1,000%. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, if you've done this before, which they made it all cutesy, so it seemed like you have.
Yeah.
Like I could probably pretty easily memorize the first 30 to 40 Fibonacci sequence numbers.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, she knew the 8th Fibonacci sequence number. Like that was a little odd to me. I felt the exact same way. Like I thought that was weird too.
And it's not like there's any other really number games they could play if they're bored, right? Like, I don't know.
Prime numbers maybe?
Yeah. But that's my point. You'd run out of sequences to recite.
Yeah, or if you do it enough times, more than 4 times, you're going to start remembering numbers. So, oh my God, you knew that 11 was a Fibonacci sequence number? Oh my God. Actually, it's 13. Gotcha there. You didn't jump in there.
Oh. Yeah, it's 13.
Whoa! Now you do.
Yeah.
You look
but nitpick aside, I do think the show was trying to tell us something by bringing Fibonacci into the discussion, right?
Is it a deterministic thing in terms of the prior 2 events resulted in the the next thing that happens. No, maybe.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay. I don't know. I'm just free balling with
Or
that.
for lack of a better theory, I would go with that. That's the default one to go with, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Just dismiss
That's the most
theory.
basic way to interpret it.
Very basic. Okay, you're calling me a basic bitch. I see. I'm just looking at my 4.5 pages of notes right now, and it doesn't seem very basic to me. But
Is there anything else in there that you want to point out?
I don't think so. I'm feeling pretty good. I think we're well over an hour here, although it was 4 episodes. So I don't know. We'll have to figure out our next cadence, right?
I do see a nit that you wanted to pick, and it
Oh,
was the fact that Lily was kind of idiotic in that whole post psychiatrist scene. In terms of
Thank you. I did want to bring this up. Okay. Yes. So she's being driven home by Kenton, right? After the whole 150 scene where she's being declared, incapable of whatever, being brought to a psych ward.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's being driven down the freeway, which is actually the freeway exit that I normally get off at to get in my apartment in the Mission, which is 5 blocks from where she lives at 20th and Dolores. I think maybe our next podcast we'll do it live from right outside that door, which would be pretty cool. Okay, so you find out that this crazy guy Kenton, who's scary, is driving you around, and then you decide to do the whole grab the steering wheel, throw the car into the center divider maneuver, which maybe you don't have a lot of choices at that point, but I have several nits to pick on this, which is can you at least fucking wait till you get off the freeway? Like, do you have to plow the car into the center divide, cutting across 4 or 5 lanes of traffic, which one, super dangerous to you, like can easily die. Like, I don't know what your death percentage is at that point. It's probably 65%, just slamming across several lanes of traffic going, whatever, 65, 75 miles an hour. 2, you are putting many other people at risk to die. Like, that's pretty fucked up. Like, you could do this at another time where if you're slamming across the freeway, you could take out many other people. Like, some people are slamming into other folks. That one car that almost hits her, somehow still going like 80 miles an hour, almost clips her. But how do you not? Okay, things are scary. Admittedly, you're being driven by Kenton, probably to the psych ward. How do you not just wait till you get off the freeway? Maybe wait till he's going like 28 miles an hour down Folsom Street, and then slam the car into a fucking light pole or something. It just seems insane to me that, obviously it looked cool being on the freeway, but that just seemed like a terrible decision for someone who's supposedly a smart coder who can't crack a Sudoku app that Jamie, her ex-boyfriend, can easily crack. But anyways, that was a pretty big nit to pick. Thank you for going through my 47 pages of notes and finding that one. So
yeah, it just seemed like she was making bad decision after bad decision, especially since she already didn't trust Kenton, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to go talk to your psychiatrist for a little bit. I'm going to close the door." Like,
I'm going to call the cops to Jamie's apartment and give them his address.
yeah,
It's like, why don't you call from the Starbucks or something, some public location or something? Oh, quick question for you.
yes.
Is her family/mom going to play a role in the rest of the season? Because the whole background story that I don't get is her dad died when she was 10, right?
Okay.
And then her mom moved to Hong Kong with
And
remarried. So did she move to Hong Kong too? That's what I don't understand.
Well, it doesn't sound like it because she says she's not close with her step siblings. I mean,
so we're thinking maybe the mom moved to Hong Kong after Lily was maybe out of the house, and then they call it. Okay, that's fair. I was confused by that though. I was like, wait, she moved to Hong Kong? Like, it didn't seem like she lived in Hong Kong, but but she's only 27, so like the mom's remarrying at this age and having step kids, like that whole timeline seemed a little weird. But I don't know. Do you think the mom plays a role, or maybe the dad's death, anything like that? Does that come back to play a role?
Yeah, I wonder if if there was more backstory to this, I could potentially seeing like she discovers the secret of devs by episode 8, and then instead of blowing the lid off everything, she makes a turn and tries to bring her dad back from death or something.
Ooh, I like that.
But once again, since they haven't focused too much on her backstory, I don't think they're going to go down that road. But that would be a nice little kind of twist to it, as opposed to having a nice, happy ending where she, exposes devs, but instead she falls for kind of like the technology and decides to use it.
Personal thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Last over under, and then we're done.
All right.
How old is Lyndon? I'm going to put the over under at 16 and a half. Over under, obviously.
I am going to say under.
Under, okay. Yeah. I mean, looks pretty.
Yeah.
He in terms of the pronoun of the character, she in terms of the pronoun of the actor, looks pretty young. Actually, I guess maybe next episode we'll look up at the. Obviously, I think the over under is for the character, but I'd be curious on the actor too. But.
Well, it does seem like he is probably the smartest dev they have for having.
Yeah, I mean, figuring out the audio, multiverse audio issue. What was it called? I took my notes on this. The Everett protocol or whatever.
Yeah.
The multitude of variances instead of the De Broglie. I mean, I know my notes are pretty amazing right now. Well, anyways, I was digging this. I think this was a lot of fun. This was almost an hour, 20 plus minutes long, although we had 4 episodes to cover. So, talking devs, I'm down.
I will note real quick back to Lyndon that in your episode 1 notes, which obviously you wrote before you saw any of the other episodes, you wrote, "Who is the 14-year-old kid?" So,
so I guess the under. It is pretty funny to look back at those notes from a while back, which was 2 days ago, since that's when I started the show. But, that's pretty funny. 14-year-old. Maybe I should have set my line lower than that. But well, cool. Well, Jimmy / Jamie / whatever you want to call yourself. Appreciate you joining. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know.
We should figure out. I don't know what our next chunk should be. Probably not. I don't think we can go another 4 episodes. There's just a lot going on. So
yeah, I feel like our theories won't change that much from the next couple episodes, although we can kind of track which theories have taken the lead based on what happened in the episode. Yeah.
So maybe we'll maybe after episode 6 or something, we'll figure it out. But shows on FX, Hulu, whatever the heck the channel's called.
FX on Hulu. That's the official name.
That's what it's called. Maybe we'll bring Pete back next week. Maybe Stuart will join. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see who we get to join.
I'd like Lyndon to come on.
Lyndon can join. Yeah. She's got her $10 million and not a whole lot to do. So. But yeah, well, cool, Jimmy. Thank you. This was super fun. We'll be doing this again soon. Talking devs, episode 1 in the books. We'll catch you in a couple weeks.
Sweet. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Take care.
All right. See you guys.